Hey guys, this is Pradeep from Palo Alto Networks. Today I'm going to show you an issue where when we do a failover from active to passive and we have a BGP and OSPF running on the firewall, what triggers an issue where the BGP updates are sent after 2 minutes or the graceful timer. So I'm just going to show you a quick give you a quick demo demonstrating what impacts that and what causes it to have a 2-minute delay. So to begin with, this is my active firewall and this is my passive, and this is a standalone firewall just to pair up with BGP and OSPF. This in the real scenario would be could be any vendor like a Cisco or Juniper, anything that is pairing a BGP and OSPF through firewall. So just to give you guys quick view, this is my interfaces and I'm using Ethernet 1/4 to pair with my other firewall, which is also in the same subnet. I'm going to create a eBGP between these two peers, and the issue that we are going to see is basically when we have a OSPF configuration configured on the firewall and the interface that's added to it is not expecting any neighborship from the neighbor. So basically this is a stale configuration, or this is it's not pairing any OSPF neighborship on this interface. When we have this interface enabled, what it does is our routing manager would wait for to have a neighborship on this interface, but since there is no active OSPF neighbor, it waits until the OSPF graceful timer is pops out. So basically when this timer gets over, then we will see the BGP update being sent out. So to demonstrate this, very simple, I have created this area 00 with Ethernet 1/5, and the peer here, if you see, I added this area 0, but it's a different interface. So basically there is no neighborship. This is the CLI. So yeah, if I run OSPF summary, there is interface added to it, but there is no neighborship with the peer. So this is we just have the configuration added. And let's take a look at the BGP. So BGP, we do have a neighborship with the peer, and we are accepted 3 prefixes and advertise 2 prefixes to the peer, and this is our peer. Same thing, don't have anything on the OSPF. And if we do BGP summary, it has accepted those 2 and advertising is 3. So we can also check the BGP rib arm. So it is sending these 3 to the peer, these networks, and this firewall is sending these 2 prefixes to the peer. And I have this passive firewall, which is basically this is a tail command of the root, the route D logs. So basically just showing the route D information. So what we were going to do is, this is the passive, we will suspend the active firewall here. That will trigger a failover to this firewall, and this will become the active. So just start a traffic capture on it, remove these. Okay, so here we go. So this is started, and let's suspend this active. Now we would see here this has become active, and let's take a look at the logs here. So looks like it already went from passive to active, and so this would be suspended now, and this is standalone, and this is I think I don't have one more passive, so let me log in one more. So real quick, if we do show routing BGP summary, so we can see it has still not advertised anything yet. So we initiated the firewall, we suspended the firewall, so it has to wait for 2 minutes. And if we continue looking at this, meanwhile we can also check the logs here. So we can, it says that it has been reserved for the peer, end of rib mark is sent, and let's see if it has actually come up. Still waiting. Okay, let's see, 2-minute timer is over yet or not. Okay, still waiting. Okay, now we see BGP route advertising is not delayed. Now we should be seeing the other message that we see is this: it times out. Now the OSPF graceful restart timer has popped out, or basically timed out. So now if you see, yep, it's these routes are advertised to the peers. So let's download the traffic capture that will show us this exact same thing. So if we open this TX, and let's just filter on BGP, and let's check the timer to arrival time. So if you see at 10:06, this open message was sent to the peer from 120 to 110. That was 10:06:06, and exactly after, approximately after that, we did send an update to the peer. And so what interesting is, it first sends the end of web message, and then it sends the update of the peer. So this is expected behavior. Basically the reason why it is behaving like this is that we have on OSPF an interface configured, but it is not expecting any neighborship. So this is a misconfiguration or a wrong configuration, which is causing this behavior for our routing manager to start advertising the BGP updates. We are waiting for basically OSPF to come up. Since OSPF is configured on those interfaces, we are waiting for it to be up or the timer to get expired before we can send it. So this was a real quick for this. So we can see here it is taking 2 minutes. Now let's go ahead and continue and remove that interface, and we will see the same. We'll compare the difference. So let's make this firewall functional. So this would become active since I have a preemption enabled. I think it might, yeah, it will take some few minutes or a few seconds. Right now this is active. So this firewall is, we are not really checking anything on this standalone. This is the peer. Okay, this is active. Okay, this is faster. Okay, that's fine, we can remove this from here. So now let's go ahead and add or remove this interface from OSPF. So we do have this OSPF from 00, so all we need to do is remove this interface, which is a misconfiguration in our case, and we commit. Oh, this one all became active just now. So let's see. Okay, this one's gonna have this. Okay, so it's like, oops. Okay, what we'll do is basically add remove from here as well. Okay, this is gone now. Good. Okay, it is synchronized. So you're going to do the same test, and this firewall would become active after we failover. So let's check the command line again. So this is OSPF summary. Now you can see the neighbor interface is removed. We just have the area ID, and we still have the BGP rib out and protocol. Okay, so it's like the BGP is down right now. Let's take a look at the configuration real quick. Okay, let's see if it is. Okay, it's up now. I believe when we did made the active firewall as the removed it from the suspended state, it became active, so the BGP moved to the active one, so it's should be all good now. Okay, now let's do the same test one more time. So let's make sure we have this one, do not have anything, and let's go ahead and verify. Okay, traffic capture, let's enable it. Let's make the device suspended again. Again, I am doing these captures. This is pretty simple, but just be careful in production. Should always add the filters. So I just made that change, and it is already active. And let's see how long it took this time. So this must be suspended. No, this is passive. It's right away. It's basically right now not waiting for the graceful timer of OSPF to pop out, and it established the connection and sent the BGP update right away. We can verify it here in the traffic capture. Let's open it. JX. Okay, yeah, so already have the BGP, so you can see the open message sent at 10:14:42. within 15, 16, 18 seconds we do see update sent. So this is the end of this video. Basically, if we have an OSPF running in the firewall and BGP also on the same firewall, we gotta make sure that all the interfaces that we choose in under OSPF are actually active and kind of waiting for they have the neighborship. If any of the areas have any interface that is not pairing up, it's better to remove those, because then it really doesn't make any sense to add them anyway. This will help us have a faster convergence of BGP from firewall perspective. So we had noticed when we have the OSPF running with the interfaces that are not pairing in OSPF, we do see a issue where it takes approximately 2 minutes for BGP to advertise to the peers. Typically this is not an issue if both uh, peers have graceful restart configured. So let's say if the standalone device that we have is also capable of graceful restart, so it is going to hold the routes for 2 minutes. But if the other device is not graceful restart capable, then we've seen that it could be an issue. So hopefully this was informative, and thank you.